before I begin, I just want to talk to you about what I mean by resource. So resource can be anything from creative, digital, and strategic. It doesn't really matter what discipline that you cater for and what experience level you have. And what I mean by experience level, whether you've worked in automotive or you've worked in pharmaceutical, it doesn't really matter. Volary is able to cater for any resource that has been in the advertising or digital space. Now, I'm a creative myself, and I've worked in this industry for almost 20 years. I've worked at probably 12 agencies, and although the name above the door changes, the process is pretty much the same. And if you've been in the industry for as long as I have, then you've probably noticed there's been quite a few drastic changes. And not only that, some really, really scary ones, where we're seeing some really large named agencies closing their doors, which kind of makes you as a creative feel like, okay, so what's my future going to be like? I'm here to tell you that Volary is going to be the advertising agency of the future. That's where I would like to put it. I would like to put it as the advertising agency where it doesn't matter what your experience level, as I mentioned. It doesn't matter what your capabilities are. It will be the place that you can go as a creative and do a creative or digital person and do what it is that you're good at, and not have to worry about all the other things that come with it. So this is the exciting thing about Volary. Volary will be the first decentralized peer-to-peer online advertising and digital agency. Now, what that means is you'll be able to interact with not only other resources and directly with clients. You'll be able to take control over every aspect of your career. Now, you'll be able to take control of when you want to work, how you want to work, who you want to work with, and that's from a resource point of view, from other resource point of view that you're partnered with, to clients that you want to work with. You'll be able to select, because what clients will be able to do is they'll be able to go into the system itself and they'll be able to create a network. And this network is comprised of all the resources that are required for their particular business requirements. So let's use an example, pharmaceutical. So what they would want is they would want copywriters, obviously, to write the stuff. They would obviously want medical writers to reference everything. They would want designers, they would want art directors, they would want strategists, they would want a whole list of different resources that they can plug into at any given time. And you would be part of that resource network. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to open up the advertising agency not only to those that could afford it previously, so your big corporates and commercials, but also open it up to all the small and medium-sized businesses. Anybody that wants anything from a business card to letterheads to flyers through to a full integrated digital and traditional campaign. So think of it as the largest decentralized advertising agency. Eventually what we want to do is we want it to be around the world. So if you, for argument's sake, live in the US and you get commissioned to do a job in Europe, you get paid in euros. If you commissioned to do a job in the UK, you get paid in pounds. And likewise, if a company in the US wants to do business in Africa, for argument's sake, the African resources get paid in US dollars. So there's this whole thing that we want to do, this whole system that we want to create, where not only are you in more control of your career, you'll be able to tell people when you want to work, so you'll be able to book your schedules. If you're already working on something, you can't be double booked, so there's no pressure of that. And the other thing that you'll also have to deal with is you won't be dealing directly with clients. What the clients will have available to them is client service project managers, who are also part of the resource team, but think of them obviously as client service. And I know it sounds like a mouthful, but there's a reason why it's a mouthful. They need to understand client service, which means they need to understand clients, they need to understand what clients are about, but they also need to understand project management. Because let's face it, the difference between doing a print ad and a TV ad, for argument's sake, is very different to building a digital app or building a really intelligent website. those things come in certain stages. So the deliverables or the application or the producing of the particular mediums require someone that understands both sets of it. So you'll be dealing with this client service project manager who will manage you and manage the client from that perspective to ensure that the project is completed on time for the right amount of money at the correct standard and quality that the client is looking for. And all you have to do is do your part. That means you have to take professional responsibility for yourself. And those that can't take professional responsibility for themselves will be overseen by a creative director that can help them do that. Now, how we tier those degrees of experience is when you sign up or when you register on Volary, you will have to provide every single aspect of your work history. Now, if you've had no work history and you're new, you're fresh out of college, that's fine. We'll just check with your college. But if you've had 10, 15, 20 years of experience, you need to put your most recent past 3 or more references so that we can check that you say what it is that you do is right, so that we can validate. And once you've validated, you then can go and be put on the database for the clients to create their networks with. Then what happens is an algorithm basically works out your star rating. Now that star rating is how much you can charge an hour. You can't be fresh out of school and be charging 500 an hour. It's not advisable. So also from the client's point of view, because obviously there's a quality or an expectation they're looking for, and if you can't deliver, it not only makes yourself look bad, it makes the system look bad. So it'd be tiered according to a star rating. The algorithm will work out a star rating depending on your experience. That is how much you can charge an hour. You cannot negotiate on money, only on time. And when we go through the tutorial videos, we'll show you what we mean in more detail by the time and what you can negotiate on. But for now, for the sake of this conversation, let's just say that you'll have there is no room for or little room for risk from a client's point of view and also from your point of view. The other aspect of it is because you are now you're able to choose who you want to work with. You'll be able to choose what times you're available. You'll be able to. There's no negotiation on money, only on time. You'll also be pleased to know that in order for jobs to go live, for any project to go live, the client has to pay a deposit up front. So there is guaranteed payment. In order for the job to be completed and released to the client has to pay the remainder of what has been stated on the quotation. So there is guaranteed payment. The system will make sure that once you've completed a project, and you'll be able to see it, your status and how many hours that you've worked on your actual profile, so that you know what to expect at the end of the month, what your salary will be. So you can choose. You might only want to work on weekends. You might want to choose that you might want to work nights only. You might want to work 12 hours a day. I mean, that's entirely up to you. We don't advise it, but you can do it. So you can select how much time you want to work on, how much money you want to earn. There's all these aspects that will be beneficial to you. And then not only that, as I mentioned before, the star ratings will be those people that are not experienced enough. So anything from a 1-star to a 3-star, the system will consider they are not confident enough in their own ability to manage their own time and their quality of the either creative or digital product. So what will happen then is the client will have access to a creative director, and a creative director is anyone that's a 4 or 5-star. They are people that have been in the industry long enough to have that ability or that confidence to oversee the creative or digital process. So during the review processes, which the system will have built in, there will be a built-in conference section. Before the projects even start, the client or client service project manager can invite a creative director to not only view the brief before the brief goes out, but also during the review process, judge the work based on if it meets the brief criteria or not. So now what you have is you have this literally a physical advertising or digital model that is online, that the client is now not only able to control who they have, they can also control what they're paying to these resources, and they're also a part of the system which manages from a timing point of view and from a standard and quality point of view. So now you have you as a resource taking ownership and control and managing your career and your side of it. Be professional. That's all you need to do. If a client asks you to do something, you do it. All you need to do is deliver on your side of the process, and the client has to deliver on their side of the process. So the system is designed for accountability and responsibility to everyone. The more networks you're on, the more professional you are, the more money you will make, the more time you'll have to yourself. It's endless. And not only, like I say, in your region, you can do it globally. So what I want to do is I want to invite you to please donate to the Volary system so that we can build this model, so that not only do you have a future, but the advertising and digital industries have a future, have somewhere to go. Because at the moment, it's feeling quite uncomfortable for everybody, for the clients, for user resources. We don't know where it's going to go. And with this system, we're hoping and we're wanting to make a difference, not only in your life, but also in the client's lives. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.